Good evening, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's having a good night. I have to say, it's really early in the morning because the criminals put me to sleep again, interrupting the flow of what I was supposed to do this evening, which was to post another video and also contact some people. But welcome to the channel, newcomers. I just wanted to give an update on the last video that I posted. Those were not my thoughts or comments. They were comments that were that responded to something that I wrote on Quora a year ago. And then another post he posted to someone else in October. So I wanted to present that. And in hindsight, what he stated is there's some truth mixed in with some misinformation. Okay. First, when we total his statistics, you get 101%. That's right. You get a 101%. So that's wrong. He said that the targeted individuals comprise 1% of the population, and that 97% of the population participate as perpetrators, with the other 3% as being other. And he listed a whole bunch of other that were, I guess, insignificant to the program. I believe that's false. Not only have other people have reported more accurate statistics, but the ACLU performed research in 2016, and at that time on the terrorist watch list there were 900,000 individuals. It's significantly more than that. I believe Karen Stewart said it's closer to 2 million. And then, of course, there are the folders that are not listed on the watch list, but that are carried around in suitcases by certain police precincts around the country. So they may not be on the actual watch list, but they may be paid for hire, revenge for hire, and getting paid. Well, of course, they're all getting paid under the table, but even more so. So it may be more secretive, and involve more secret societies, cults, and other corporations and organizations that might not be listed on the terrorist watch list. So also, with regard to what he stated happened between him and the FBI, what he described is not something, in my opinion, that the FBI would do to like a regular person. And the fact that he's stating it in a public forum, I'm doubting it. Okay, maybe it's true, maybe it is not true. You know, this whole program is designed to trick us into believing something that we don't, spread misinformation. Like the word gang stalking. There's no such word in the on the law books as gang stalking. It's stalking. It's regular stalking. There is community stalking. It's stalking by more than one individual. And then, of course, there's the Title 18, Section 241 and 242, conspiracy against rights, etc., by public officials. So I just wanted to clarify that those comments were not mine. They were responded to. And the individual who wrote them, if you want to look him up, and in hindsight, I mean, it's a bizarre name to choose for oneself. It's self-deprecation called talentless. Like having no talent. Okay, talentless. So the individual chose to call himself talentless. And when I looked at his posts, there were some of them that seemed bona fide, accurate. Some of them were a little bit bizarre. And I know that in this community, a couple of things, that there are double agents. There are agents that come in to infiltrate and spread misinformation. Then there are the targets that are so heavily targeted and maybe did not have good coping skills to begin with, and their coping skills deteriorate in this program, especially with the use of drugs and alcohol and other pharmaceutical drugs, of which I do not participate in. I do not smoke cigarettes, marijuana, drink alcohol. I don't drink soda. I don't take pharmaceutical drugs. I don't even take an aspirin. So I do not fit into that category. So I just need to say that for the record, and also just as evidence that I live a healthy lifestyle, or I try to, but the perpetrators keep infecting my home with nanotechnology. You can see it under a black light, folks. I highly recommend that if you think that you're targeted, to buy yourself a black light. It has to be really dark, like this time of the evening in your house with all the lights turned out, and then you can go around your house with a black light and you see all the damage they've done to your property. All the yellow sticky stuff that they spread in your bathroom, in your bathtub, and the ceilings, on light switches and stuff. These are tracking devices, and they also want you to touch it because it may be, and I don't know this for sure, it may be transdermal. It may be something that, when you touch it, it transfers some toxin. Do I know that for certain? I don't know. But there's a purpose for everything that they do. That's about it. I hope everybody's having a good evening. Actually, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I should have been in bed 2 hours ago. But again, these criminals put me to sleep. I took the advice of Kathy O'Brien. In her more recent book on post-traumatic stress disorder, with regard to this program, etc., she recommends wearing a watch. And now I understand why. I was watching a YouTube video. It was 3 hours long, and I knew I wasn't going to watch the entire thing. I get about an hour and 20 minutes into it, and they knock me out. I go from being completely awake to completely asleep, and when I woke up, the video was playing, and it was already up to 3-hour mark. And I looked at my watch, and it was 1:15 a.m. And the last time I had looked at my watch, it was around midnight. And before that, I had an alarm go off. I set a lot of alarms on my phone as a reminder in case these criminals are starting to use their frequencies on me. And the last one I heard was at 10 p.m. And I have them set at midnight, at 1, and I did not hear those go off. So when they put you in this trance, this sleep, the sky could be falling. And this is very dangerous. It's highly dangerous. Not only is it dangerous in case there's a real problem in the environment that you need to be alerted to, but it interferes with your circadian rhythm and the quality of your life and health. We all have a flow. I call it a flow, when you're in the flow of doing something. And then what these criminals do is they will break the flow. Because if you're involved with the remote neural monitoring, they're monitoring you 24/7, just as they can monitor when you're walking out the front door and your neighbor is passing by at the same time. The entry exit street theater garbage. But this interference of the flow is intentional. It's intentionally designed to prevent you and sabotage the things that you need to do. And this has been happening to me every night, folks. This is why I'm awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. I should have been in bed 2 hours ago. But the things that I needed to do, the tasks that I needed to perform this evening, were interfered with and interrupted. So if this happens to you, leave a comment down below. I know a couple of other people have mentioned that it does. I'd like to know how often it happens and if there's a way to interrupt it. I know that this is a sort of a form of hypnosis. So what concerns me also is what these individuals may be programming, I'll use that word, programming, or saying to me during these lapses of time. It's deeply disturbing. Fortunately, my door was bolted shut. There are times when I have, during the summertime, sat at my laptop and they've knocked me out, and I've only had like one latch on the door, and I know that they have gotten in. I know that for a fact because I woke up and I had blood behind each of my ears. Something had been implanted in my ears. This is how stealth, covert, these sellout losers, this is what they do. It's disgusting. And to answer somebody's question about moving from New Jersey, if I thought it was a good idea or whatever, I wanted to move from New Jersey for more than 3 years. It was always the plan. Even when I was married to my ex-husband, it was always my plan to leave New Jersey. New Jersey wasn't my original destination. I never actually thought I'd live there. It just happened that I visited a friend who moved from California to New Jersey, and showed me the house that she almost bought, and that's the house that I ended up purchasing. So it was never a thought, but I was there for 30 years, original owner in the same house, and that's where the targeting began, folks. And the Manalapan Police Department were definitely involved. Lieutenant Thomas Mantle, who was then promoted to a captain. Chief of Police Michael Fountain, who was subsequently retired, and maybe he's a gangbanger right now, right? That's what these guys do, these retired guys. They turn into the quote-unquote gang stalkers and just double dip between their pension and their side hustle, right? So another person said, was a comment, well, you know you're going to get targeted if you say that you hate the police. It's like, okay, well, let's back up a second. I don't hate all police. It wasn't until I realized that the Manalapan Police Department were harassing me personally that I had any ill will towards any police. I had always held them in high regard because I am of the generation, I'm in my 60s, where the cops, when I was growing up, were good. They walked little old ladies across the street. They found kittens in trees. They helped people. They weren't the tyrant bullies that they are now. And the tyrant bullies are the 30-year-olds, the 20 and 30-year-olds. They were likely bullied as kids, and they're also being indoctrinated into this New World Order terrorist police state, the Thin Blue Line cult. And not all of them are doing that. You know, some of the old-timers can't stand it. But a lot of these young people, they get off on it. You know, they might inherently be bullies. And what better job for a bully than to, you know, be in a position of authority? So, no. So to answer your question, no, I don't hate all cops. I absolutely hate some of the police officers at the Manalapan Police Department because they're liars. They're criminals. They should actually be in prison. And I absolutely despise some lawyers. And actually, you can add a couple of judges in that, because you know what? I've been through the legal system with my ex-husband, and I've had the fortunate or misfortunate opportunity to meet many judges and many lawyers. In addition to the fact that I had a bona fide stalker, like a real stalker that I went to court with, was able to get a restraining order against. The creepo violated the restraining order. I had to testify before the grand jury, and I had like the best cop in Freehold, a Freehold police officer, testify on my behalf. And from what I understand, he's either a lieutenant or a chief of police there now. He was the best. Literally, probably the best police officer I've ever met in my life. There was actually one or two others in the Manalapan Police Department that were quite nice, and one was actually a female. And I didn't catch her badge number. She actually helped me. Maybe she was a perpetrator. Maybe she was sent to help me carry my pet food out of Pet Value when I lived in Manalapan. I had this heavy, heavy load of pet food and cat litter, and the cart was like getting away from me, like it was going down a slope. And this female police officer was behind me and intercepted and helped me with it. And I was very grateful. And actually, I thanked her. I said, you know, there need to be more police officers like you and more females too. And she just kind of gave me like a little nod, but I didn't get her badge number or her name or whatever. But she was a Manalapan police officer. But so no, no, that's not why I'm in the program. No, there's actually a cop in my family, on my father's side, so he's retired. So no, I don't hate all cops. But I'll tell you a bunch of lawyers I really can't stand. But we'll save that for another day. Maybe I'll start naming them. There are actually more of them than there are police officers. But I've got to get to bed, folks. I hope everybody's doing well. And this cute little picture here of this rooster, this is a hand-painted drawing. You know, I like to collect these cuties. This one I think I purchased last year. And it's a little dark in here because I only have little Christmas lights on in my house. So I hope to talk to you tomorrow. Hope everybody's well. Leave a comment down below. Please like, share, comment if you feel inclined to do so.